Hi, welcome to Her Net Worth Journey. My name is Caitlin, and you're following along as I attempt to reach $8 million net worth. So today we're going to be talking about grocery budgeting. So in order to reach my net worth journey, I am trying to figure out ways to cut back on spending. And one of those ways is creating a grocery budget. So for two people, every week I have a budget of $70. So typically that means that I need to be eating more leftovers for lunches and relatively cheap breakfast meals and kind of cheap dinners as well. So today I'm going to show you my process in terms of creating a grocery budget and a grocery plan. So the first thing that I do is I will take an inventory of what we have in the house and see if there's any meals that I can create from that, whether lunches, breakfast, or dinners, or even snacks. So I go ahead and I double check through all those. If you have a husband or wife or child like my husband, he leaves empty boxes in the cabinets, which is super fun for me when I went grocery shopping. And I believe that we had granola bars and it happened to be that he ate them all and left the box empty in the cabinet. So definitely make sure that you're checking the boxes. I've definitely learned that in the past. Like I said, I do the inventory. I write down items that I think could make a meal, and I keep that in mind. And then next, once I have everything that I know that we have in the house that I could make towards a meal, I then start planning my other meals throughout the week that I haven't filled out yet. And I use this cute little meal planning sheet that I fill out on my iPad, and I'll link it down below in the description for you so that you can use it too to make your meal plan. But I go through different either Pinterest, or I go on Google, or I go to the app Yummly, which I really enjoy because you can search it by diet. As a vegetarian, this is super helpful for me because it shows me like vegan and vegetarian meals, which I really appreciate. And those are usually make from scratch meals. So those are things that I like to use in order to get less processed meals throughout my week. And so I'll go through there and I'll pick out things that I like, get the ingredients, and make sure that I either have them in the house already or include them on my weekly grocery budget. I don't really go for sale items or things like that at the grocery store. I'm not really interested in getting a ton of things that I don't really need for the week, especially things that we're not going to be able to eat before they go bad. So it's definitely something to consider when you are doing your grocery shopping is how quickly will this go bad and how likely are we to eat it this week? Because that's what I take into consideration when I'm doing my weekly budget. You might want to be doing a bi-weekly budget if you're not able to go to the grocery store on a weekly basis. I'm going to talk today about how I have discovered grocery delivery and how I much prefer that method. It helps me from spending extra money at the grocery store, and it's relatively cheap. I just discovered Whole Foods delivery. So today we are going to go through as I order something from Whole Foods. So originally I used to use Instacart, but that did charge me a fee, as well as I did tip the driver often. So it's actually costing me a little bit more to get Instacart from Publix down the road versus Whole Foods, which is giving me currently free delivery as a Prime member. And then I just have to tip the driver. So it is saving me money and time, especially because Whole Foods is about 35 minutes away from my house. So it's definitely a lot better for me because I prefer that grocery store for my diet. I am able to get the groceries delivered to me for free and just pay a little bit extra for the tip for the driver. So it saves me a lot of time rather than doing an hour round trip plus 30 to 45 minutes in the grocery store. I'm able to go on their app, order the foods that I'd like, have them delivered to my house by the time I get home from work. So it's definitely saved me a ton of time and a ton of stress around grocery shopping. And so I'm going to show you how I go through and order on Whole Foods. The first thing that I do is I go to the Whole Foods app. You can probably start in the Amazon app, but I just prefer to go to the Whole Foods app because it takes me directly to my ordering place. So if you go to the Whole Foods app and click on order, you can grocery shop, pick up, and delivery exclusively for Prime members and select zip codes. So my zip code was not originally included in this. So that's why I said I just discovered it, because my zip code, like I said, is about 35 minutes away from the nearest Whole Foods. So it's pretty cool. So I would definitely check it out and see if it's in your area, especially if you are a Prime member. So it does save my previous purchases. So it'll say things like buy it again, like creamy vodka sauce, things like that. So what I do is I compare what I had in my inventory versus what I still have remaining for my weekly meal plan. And so then as I go through, I'll go through and order what I need. But typically our bills lately have been anywhere from $40 to $70 a week. So if I'm under this grocery bill on this Whole Foods, say it's only going to be about $40, you could also have them substitute anything. You can also have them substitute anything that you need. And they'll also give you another thing, like, do you need these before you check out? And you can just continue. And so then I always don't substitute any available items, but you could choose the substitute if you like. You go on to the next page and it's preparing your order. You pick the time that you'd like it delivered by. And then once you get to the final page, it'll give you the option. This says tips optional, and it sets it at $5. If you don't change it, it will tip them $5, which is totally fine if you want to tip them $5, but you are able to change it as well. And so with the $5 tip, it'd be estimated $51 for this weekly budget, or for this weekly trip to Whole Foods, and then deliver it to my door. Makes it super easy. So as you recall, I did say my weekly grocery budget was $70, but they did not have one of the items that I needed for one of my meals this week, which was the fajitas. So I'll just go ahead and stop at Publix or Target near me after work and grab that item. And it's going to be about $5. So roughly my budget for the week is $55. So that gives me a little bit more space. So I had $70 budgeted for the week. So if I need to eat out for lunch one day, I can. I try not to as much as possible. I try to eat out for lunch maybe once a month. But it does give me a little bit of space just in case I need it to fit my grocery budget. So it's definitely really helpful, especially if you're like me and you have a little bit more of a vegetarian vegan diet and you know you can't buy everything necessarily from one store. Then it makes it a little bit easier when you can order it from one store and know exactly how much your total remaining is in your budget. So roughly with $70 per week, depending on the month, it's going to be anywhere from about $280 to $350 budget for our groceries. And so we try to stay within there. Sometimes we're under, which is great, and we can use that money towards debt repayment. Other times we're a little bit over, depending on if we have guests or things like that we also need to feed, because we do often have guests visiting us down here in Florida. So it's definitely something that you have to make a plan and a budget that works for both of your incomes, because we split everything 50-50. We discovered that $70 is a really good grocery budget for the two of us. That does not include our dog food or anything for our pets typically. That is a completely separate part of our budget. So if you want to include dog food and things like that, you can up your budget. It just depends on your lifestyle and what your household prefers and what works for you. So you definitely want to think about those things when going into creating your weekly grocery budget. If you want more helpful tips from me, make sure that you are hitting the subscribe button and the bell notification down below. I post new videos every Monday. Let me know any grocery budget tips that you have down in the comments down below. I'd love to hear them. I'm always looking for new tips or new apps to help me out with finding new recipes. So if you have any of those, let me know. I am sending positive vibes your way, and I hope that you are sending positive vibes my way as I continue on my debt repayment journey towards reaching a higher net worth. If you have any questions, make sure that you let me know down in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll see you next Wednesday.